Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have our second to last comparison for the Commonwealth faction here for you guys today. We're talking about Air Superiority Fighters. This will be another faction with 3 days spent in the plane tab, and I think every one of them well worth it. Today we're taking a look at the Canadian CF-118 Hornet, comparing it to the Tornado F2 and the Tornado F3, both from the UK roster. And just to take a look at these, some things that I think are going to be kind of important before Quicksilver starts his explanation. We're going to have the number of anti-plane missiles, as well as the range, and of course whether or not you get fire forget, as well as semi-active, plus things like ECM and plane speed. So, Quicksilver, you want to tell me what I should be looking at here?
Alright, so there's a lot of different little stats and variables that can influence your decision on which to take. Personally, I'm just going to say I always take the CF-188 Hornet because I feel like I get better. It's better at the close range dogfight after the long range missiles are out of ammo.
Gotcha,
So
that makes a lot of sense.
So the closest one you can compare it to is the Tornado F3, which, if we have a look at the stats there, it has the 4 Sky Flashes and the
Right.
4 AIM-9Ls, whereas the Hornet has the 2 Sparrows versus the 6 9Ms.
Now,
So
the first
the
question
Hornet,
that comes to mind for me, just sorry to,
yeah, no, you're
it's
right.
just such an odd thing to look at. Semi-active on all of these choices, 8,400 meter range versus 7,700. Does that make a big difference, or you commented the close range fight after the long range fight? How often is that a deciding factor?
It really depends on the planes and the angle of attack, but normally you'll fire off 2 long-range missiles, and by the time those 2 are fired off, you're in close-range capabilities. So the Tornado is a bit better at shooting at planes that are running away for it because it's got the 4 long-range ones, but in a head-on fight, the Hornet's going to have a better time because it's got the 6 short-range missiles that also outrange the short-range missiles on the Tornado.
Gotcha, and also better accuracy by the look of it, as well as better HE power. So wow, that's a lot more than I expected to have different there about the secondaries
You
for this.
you also have the Vulcan, and basically if the gun isn't a Vulcan, you might as well not be having a gun on your aircraft because the Vulcan is just that amazing.
Gotcha. So we've talked
Um,
about those two a fair bit. Then is there ever a time to take the cheaper F2?
it definitely can be good to have a cheap uh, missile slinger, like 115 points, but I feel like if you're gonna take 2 cards of ASF or even just 1 card of ASF, you should either just take the double cards of upvetted Hornets or get a Typhoon and an upvetted Hornets.
Gotcha. And of course, the Typhoon is the sort of premier ASF for the faction, for Fire and Forget AMRAMs, for AIM-9Ms, sharing that 4-4 split with the other British ASFs we talked about today. But the Fire and Forget, I think, probably makes the difference here. Plus, same speed, better ECM. This is sort of the top of the line choice. So, CF-118 Hornet, is there ever a time you'd take both of these, or is that not really going to be something that's possible given the cost?
It depends on the deck I'm playing, really. If I'm playing mech, it's nice to have a bit of extra anti-air.
But
But
in a general deck, maybe just pick one or the other and try and get
yeah,
good use.
in a general deck, I'd even take the Hornet or the Typhoon, just for the reasons mentioned above.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. That's going to be our comparison for today. We'll be back here tomorrow with the last unit comparison for this faction. And if you're hearing this at some point, I think today's no, actually no. The timing on that is a little bit off. I'm going to cut that out in post. But thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.